Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Tech Chit Chat Show. My name is Ken. You can find me on Northern Viking every day and Northern Viking Explorer on YouTube. I'm here with my co-host Stephen Loney on YouTube and 8-Bit Warrior on Twitter. Hello, Stephen.
That's correct. Sorry, why are you laughing? What's the problem here?
We forgot to start, and then everything was messed up. And yeah, it's super awesome.
The last thing I heard was like, "Oh shoot!" and you started it, and so I think it got picked up at the very start of the stream. So, good morning, happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, and I'm just laughing because like things were on the screen and all sorts of stuff, and I don't know why neither of us have like our little name on the screen either. I'm not sure what's going on there.
You know what? And we just keep reminding that I'm Steven. There's Ken.
I'm Ken.
We're good to go.
It's Tuesday. We've been off for a while. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers. We brought some coffee this morning. I have my lovely cup again with the salmon fish.
Nice. I have my brand new Los Cabos Mexico mug.
Because you just came from Mexico, right?
I did come from Mexico, yes. Trying to work on my tan. Getting washed away in rogue waves.
Sweet.
You know. Yes. Yeah. So we did want to stream last week, but we were both under the weather. So, and then I was away before that. So here we are again. If you haven't joined us before, we like to get together and talk about tech. So yes. Stephen and I over the years have always gone to coffee shops and talked about tech. And we figured, hey, why don't we just do that live on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook. You can even watch us on Spotify or listen to us on one of your favorite podcasting platforms.
Yes.
So, yes. So it's the Tech ChitChat Show where we drink coffee and talk about tech that we don't really know about. So
we try to know.
We try to know. We read up for 15 minutes before we start. So
we're professionals now.
Yeah. You have a good weekend? I ask you that every time.
Yeah, I've been resting and stuff, but I think it was good. It was good.
Good.
Yeah, I had to. I sent you a picture just before we started. I had to deal with some agriculture issues inside my bedroom. I was going to bed and I opened the curtain. All of a sudden, I realized there was a vine growing inside my house, and my window was like, yeah.
So your window was closed, you said, and it grew through the window.
Yeah. So when you say like you close a window, and there's like the lip open part down here. Well, I had it like it was like a crack kind of open, but where the plant got through was through the top seal. It pushed its way through, and I have curtains usually closed in that window to keep light out. And so I opened it up at night, and there was a vine growing inside my house, wrapping around my blinds and stuff. And I was like, "That's neat." So that was something that something new for me.
Yoshi's commenting on your farmer's market hoodie.
I have brought up the cornucopia. We are in September. It's fall now, is it? So
yes,
we're not sponsored by Ralph's Farm Market, but
No, but that's why all the trees and bushes are trying to grow into your house because they want sponsorship.
I'm totally not like an earthy person, but it makes it seem like my cornucopia, all that. But
so while I was down in I went to Palm Springs. And then I went to Mexico, and it was hot. But I did make one stop, tech-related stop. I only had about 10 minutes, but this place was amazing. Micro Centers. Mm-hmm. It's a computer store the size of like, I don't know how big it is. Like half of a small Walmart, a small like grocery store size. But like this is one of their power supply aisles,
right,
and another power supply aisle. Like
we don't have micro centers in Canada, if I'm correct.
No, this one was outside of LA, and I think the next one might be Denver. Funny enough, we're talking about Denver a little bit later in this show. And then there's a whole bunch out east, but micro centers, like I could have spent hours in there. Like it shows you how nerdy I am that I take a picture of the power supply aisle and not like something else.
That's what you get excited about, is the power supplies.
Yeah. Well, look at all these power supplies.
Yeah.
So But yeah, it was a pretty cool store. Really huge, everything. And you know what? They did more than just computers. They had 3D printers in there. They had a small like TV section and stuff, but mostly computer parts. And
so it's a little bit like a Best Buy kind of thing.
Yeah, but just stacked to the ceiling like you see there in computer parts. Mostly.
Right.
Or like you saw there in computer parts. So
now, if I'm correct, I think the Micro Centers have been known for having like really good discounts on things at times.
I think so, yeah. So yeah, this is kind of dumb of me. I wanted to buy a little thumb drive there because I saw they were on sale when I walked through the front door. They had a sign, and I spent 5 minutes looking for them. The store was too big, and I gave up. So I couldn't find them.
Just order it online. You're fine.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll just buy one at Staples at home. But yeah. So should we talk about sushi?
A sushi coin?
Sushi coin. I checked this morning. $1.62 Canadian. It's up 4.3% today.
It's up 4.3% today?
Yes.
So you're back in the black?
No. I'm not. That has to happen 100 more times before I'm back in the black.
Hey, never know. Could you imagine you wake up one morning and like sushi coin is the hot thing?
Yeah,
and you're like the only person who had it, and then you have like the majority of like
my $5 of sushi coin is worth $1 million.
$5 million.
Yeah, I'm the only one with it.
Yeah.
So shall we talk about what we're going to talk about?
Yeah, I guess we can do that.
So we should do that. We are going to talk about a few things today. We're going to talk about Twitter and their edit button. We're going to talk about Avatar. Oh boy, I'm going to start coughing here.
Oh. Anyways. Yes, carry on.
Intel Arc, the GoPro 11, wind turbines and gummy bears, and people being cut out of their thermostats. So,
wow.
I'm going to get you to take over for a second, Steven. I have to hit my cough button here.
All right. So I've done nothing. I'll just wait for you to, because as you cut me off there, my brain went.
Okay.
Welcome back.
I might have to do that a few times here today.
Right.
I'm recovering from a cold, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, let's dive into it.
I didn't cover very well for you.
No, you just looked at me and laughed.
All right, well, I'll try better next time. I'm sorry.
All right. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just going to cough the whole episode. So, well, let's start out. Let's dive into it.
Let's do it.
Twitter gets the edit button.
Yes.
And well, they're testing it out. So Twitter is finally getting an edit button, and it's coming to Canada first.
Wow.
So they're testing it out with people with the Twitter Blue subscription. Now my eye's watering. The Twitter Blue subscription. So you'll be able to edit tweets potentially a few times within the first 30 minutes.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's not a full edit button, like edit whenever you want. It comes with restrictions, which makes sense. They want to prevent abuses. The obvious abuse would be, especially with like politicians, someone say somebody has a conversation, someone replies saying, "Oh, that's great, I agree," and then the original poster can go and change what was said and make it look like they're agreeing to the opposite thing. And that is just a very valid concern, especially when you have like political things going on, and you could have totally just fake accusations and slander going on. So I'm excited because most of the time when you want to make an edit, it is within the first minute is usually when you want to make the edit. So having 30 minutes makes sense. And as somebody who uses Twitter a lot, this would be actually the first option that would have me considering now to actually subscribe to Twitter Blue. That would be a big enough thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't use Twitter as much as you do, so I wouldn't subscribe to this, but there's been a lot of times where I've posted a tweet and then had to delete it right away.
Right.
So
Yeah. And then you like repost it again with like a correction in there, and it's a little awkward. But even
for me, it's not a lot of people see it. So, but I can see if you're a big tweeter. Is that a word?
even if there's not
tweeter?
a big tweeter. I wouldn't say I'm a big tweeter, but a consistent tweeter. I'm a heavy user of the program, but somewhere what I would want to use it is not always for typos, but even when I've sent out a tweet, but I want to format it better. When the formatting comes out really bad, especially for those who are like in marketing and trying to like set things up with a photo properly, and you realize it just didn't format how you thought it would. It'd be helpful there. So
no, for sure. And I think did it say in here that it potentially would be coming to everyone, or did that?
Yeah, so it is being tested in a small market, which apparently Canada is a small market. I would imagine that they would roll this out eventually. I don't know if they mentioned that in the article, but I'm going to assume that they're planning to roll it out to everybody eventually here.
Now, did we already mention it'll show edit history?
Yeah.
As well, so you can actually go back and see the edits.
Yeah. So right. So I believe if it is edited, there will be a badge that indicates that the tweet has been edited. So then you can then click on it and see the history. So say that there was one of those situations of like trying to bait someone into like slandering them. You could hit the edit button and verify what was originally spoken. But Twitter wants to be careful. They want to make sure they don't have a place that can abuse things. And I mean, you can already kind of do that on YouTube. You can have someone reply to you and you can change it. It'll say it's edited.
Yeah.
But as far as I know on YouTube, what does get removed, if somebody say that you on your channel, you heart someone's comment as a creator, if they edit their comment, they lose that heart on the comment. I don't know if you ever realized that, but if you heart someone's comment and they later edit their comment, it'll take your heart off their comment.
Okay.
Because they could get your heart, say what they could say something like that they think you would like, and then they can go back and change the comment to something totally different and make it look like they had your approval. So YouTube already is kind of on top of this, trying to prevent that from happening. So
I haven't really noticed that, but you're probably right.
Yeah, I noticed that because somebody had hearted my comment once, and I edited it, and I realized that I lost the heart on it, and they came back later and they added it back later, but it was kind of like, okay. So it's just those kind of things that they want to prevent the chance of someone giving like fake approval to things and trying to bait people. And so
no, for sure. I think it's a good concept. I always wondered why they didn't have it in Twitter, but when you really think about it, it makes sense that you need to see the history, because you're right. You could be liking or sharing something that you didn't necessarily agree with.
Yeah.
And it's a interesting dilemma. So I think it's good that it's coming. I like the way that they're doing it. So we'll see how this rolls out, and
I just want
whether
to add,
it's free to everyone in the future.
I doubt that. I think it'll stay Twitter Blue. I think it's a good incentive to push to. I would look forward to Twitter being a supported platform, not based on ads, like Discord, like actually having actual sustainable income that's real, not from ad marketers. And so I think getting more people on board paying money to actual real money to Twitter, I'm on board for that. But I wanted to add, I didn't know that Twitter had like this communities feature, and somebody in my Twitter circle started one for the game maker game development community.
Okay.
I was like, so now I have a communities tab in my Twitter that you can tweet to just that community. You can select
interesting.
You want to tweet just to them. So if I want to just do something really, really, really geeky about that specific niche, I can post it to that community, and only the people in that community will see it. So
here's a question for you. Have you seen where people are doing like live audio in Twitter?
I haven't.
Like I've seen, I think it's TechCrunch like pop up, and they're doing like live tech show on there.
Kind of like this.
But I don't think it's video. I haven't actually clicked on it.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
it's
I haven't.
audio.
Okay.
So I don't know, like it's almost like live podcast type of thing.
Right.
So I don't know. It'll pop up at the top that they're live type of thing. So
Right.
hey, Thomas.
Hello, tacos. Oh, TCCS.
Yeah.
Morning, Thomas. Hope you had fun at Micro Center.
Yeah, he did. He loved it. So yeah, it's a definitely an interesting thing, Twitter, and how it evolves, and
Yeah.
we'll see what happens there for sure.
Yeah.
So, shall we continue on?
Yes.
Or did you have more to say about Twitter? I know you like Twitter, so
I do. It's both awful. It can be awful, but it can also be a good tool.
yes.
So.
Let's talk about Avatar. And I know.
Can I go now? Can I leave? The door's
well,
right
the funny
there.
thing is, so I'm actually just going to pop this back up. Mr. Thomas here. So Avatar. I've always said since it came out that I refuse to watch this movie. And my son there, Thomas, who is commenting, who should be on his first day of school. I don't know why he's on here an hour into his school day. Didn't want to watch it as well. And all of a sudden he decided it would be funny to watch it because I hate it so much. I haven't watched it. I don't know what it is about the movie. Just blue characters. I just refuse to watch the movie since it came out. So yesterday he decides we got a new TV because our old TV kicked the bucket. So he wanted to watch the cinematic Avatar on this TV yesterday. And he went to go turn it on, and sure enough, it's not on Disney Plus anymore. Like after like years of like us refusing to watch it.
Right.
So they pulled it off Disney Plus, and it's actually coming back to theaters.
Right.
So because there is a new Avatar movie coming out.
Right. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, okay, right.
So it's coming back to theaters for I think later this month. It's supposed to be for a couple of weeks. So they pulled it off of Disney Plus, so you can't watch it on there anymore.
I'm okay with this.
I'm okay with it if it's permanently off Disney Plus. But I just thought it was funny that one day he decides to go watch it because we were talking about it actually last week, and then it's gone.
Yeah. The day he wants to watch it, he's been spared.
Yeah. So they're putting it back in the theaters, and then starting September 23rd in IMAX and 3D. So if you do want to see it, no promotion of it, you can go see it again.
Please don't see it.
And then I think because the new one's coming out later this year, apparently. So I just thought it was funny timing.
Yeah, Ken, you have not seen it. I did see it, I think, when it was in theaters those years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't like the movie. And there's people who was like, this big spectacle. But you know what? It's actually not a good story. It's actually not. When you strip it down to what's actually going on, get past the special effects, and no, I don't approve.
Says the person who took me to see Hot Fuzz.
What's the problem here? I don't see the problem.
I was just telling someone last week or a couple days ago that Hot Fuzz is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
I remember watching that with you in the theater, and we left because I know you like cop movies. And so when I asked how you liked it, and I think you said you were conflicted.
Conflicted of whether it was bad or awful.
No, I like you liked it, but didn't like it, but you liked it. So
no, I didn't like it.
It was still, you were conflicted. I remember.
If I liked it, I lied.
I think you forgot. So.
No, to this day, it's burned in my image of the worst movie ever. So in our opinion of these movies. But I haven't seen an Avatar yet, so it might take it off the podium.
Oh, yeah. Please don't watch. It's not for you.
No, no dragons in space.
No dragons in space.
I don't like dragon movies and I don't like space movies. Just if you're wondering. So
No.
it's
You like
other than like Space Cowboys was good. Or Independence Day. If it has Will Smith in it, then all of a sudden it's a good space movie.
The one space movie you did like that I was surprised we saw in theater together was Interstellar. That one was when we were walking out of that theater, I was like, Ken's gonna have hated this movie, and you're like, that was good. I was like, what is going on? Like, you just sat through the most trippiest ending of a movie, and you're okay with it. I was like really surprised. So
I like learning about wormholes and things like that.
Wow. Okay, that just blew my mind that you were okay with that. Like, I really enjoyed the movie, but I expected you to be like, that was the weirdest, dumbest thing ever.
Would I watch it again? No, I won't get those 3 hours back, but
Anyway, that was one of my biggest surprises with you. So
yeah. That is life sometimes.
Rolling on
to something we usually talk about. GPUs.
Yeah. Big surprise.
Intel Arc A770 or A770 GPUs will launch very soon.
Can you call it the A770?
Do you want me to call it that? A770?
Yeah, why not?
Or is that an O?
A770.
We should just call it the A770.
Have they made it official? Do they actually call it something?
Okay. Now I'm confused. Someone called me out for saying Z. No, are we Z or Z?
We're Z. Right?
Are you sure? Or Z?
Z95.3 was a radio station here. Yeah, we're Z.
Yeah, but I think we're Z. LMNOP.
No, Canada Z, America Z.
Okay. So like someone called me out on like one of my videos, like wondering what I'd said.
Because you said Z?
I said the Canadian version, and they were like wondering what it was.
It was kind of funny. Speaking French?
Yeah.
No, we have Z. They have Z. It's not too.
I don't even know which one we use, so it depends which version of Sesame Street I watched when I was a kid.
We had
the American version.
Yeah, we had the American version as kids.
But sometimes we had the Canadian version, didn't we?
And then later in life, they had Sesame Park, which was Canadian, and it was like a Canadian version. Anyway, that's
this has nothing to do with GPUs. Man, we are all over the place. I'm coughing and hacking here and using my cough button, crying.
Yeah.
We're talking about Zs and Zs. All right. That's the way we roll. I'll pull this up. Tom's Hardware. This article is from. So the Intel Arc A770 GPUs will launch very soon. I know I already said that. Now, so they're saying that the A770, am I correct, is going to be similar to a 3060 Ti?
Yeah, that's what they're supposedly claiming.
And then there's the A770, the A750 is supposed to be positioned near a 3060.
Yeah. Now I'm really waiting to see where they come out with independent benchmarks. Because that's not 3070 or 3080 class, but that's still not slow. That's still like 1080 Ti performance, which is a lot of performance still, in my opinion. If you put that into perspective. So if
they're saying that A770 should have better ray tracing on the 3060.
And that's interesting. That surprised me to hear that. That's neat. I mean, for those who use ray tracing. These just if they're priced competitively,
I would buy one and try it out.
Yeah,
if they come out soon enough.
So this article, they're in quotes very soon, and I'm not entirely sure where they're getting the very soon from here. I feel like it may have been like a marketing person somewhere talking at some event, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, so I was watching a Linus Tech Tips video the other day, and I feel like their wording in one of their videos was like, they're not really out yet. And I liked the term, they're not really out yet.
Why?
It felt like they were like saying, well, people have had them, but they're not really out yet, kind of thing. Like I feel like they're in the hands of people who are testing them, but not really.
Right. Yeah. They're not in the actual, like, we can't go to a Memory Express store here and pick one up.
No, but I felt like
we can't go to Best Buy.
I feel like they're in the hands of people who are already testing them, but they're not allowed to say they're testing them.
Right. So they exist. Apparently, they've had like really bad issues with drivers, and that's been causing issues. Driver support.
And you saying that, it was really interesting in this article. It talks about, was it not native to HDMI 2.1, and it has an onboard converter from DisplayPort.
Oh,
something like that.
Yeah, something weird, and I wasn't making sense of what was happening. So
I'm
not.
In the article, it means that an onboard DisplayPort 2.0 to HDMI 2.1 converter is needed in the article. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I wasn't entirely sure what that meant. They did mention that it can't do a native 8K screen or something with just one port, but that's not really a mainstream issue. So,
yeah.
Hey,
it's Justin.
It's Justin Trudeau. I don't know why he's on there, but I still marvel at kind of why a lot of video cards have like 3 display ports and then 1 HDMI, when I predominantly just want HDMI, like cables and stuff. So maybe most people are using DisplayPort, but I don't. That's actually a question for people out there. Do you guys usually use HDMI or DisplayPort? Because I more often just trying to find an HDMI cable for my screens and monitors.
I just want to use HDMI. I don't know. I don't even know. What are the advantages of DisplayPort?
Well, that's what's weird, is because most of them come with majority of DisplayPorts now, and you might have like HDMI and you might have a DVI, but yeah, I mean, I'm usually still trying to find HDMI cords and slots and things, and then the cards and I may have to convert from DisplayPort to HDMI, and then it's finicky and I have issues.
It's just easy. It does sound. It does everything, and yeah. So Yoshi's saying not for consumer use. I think that's when we're talking about like,
it's getting in the hands of people, but not actual consumers.
And that's not even official that it's getting in the hands of people, but I feel like it is, because there's a lot of people talking about it, and even the like, so I feel like it's out there. It's kind of like what we're going to talk about, the GoPro. I think it's already out there in people's hands. And I'll talk about this when we get to the GoPro, which is next. So do you have more you want to say on the Intel, on the ARC?
No, I think it's enough. I think we can leave more room for stuff on it later when more comes available.
So what I was going to say, so we'll dive into the GoPro Hero 11 Black leaking. What I was going to say on the hands of it being in people's hands, I know every year the GoPro gets released, and the moment it's released that day, there's already like hundreds of YouTube videos on it, and they're all people who have had their hands on it for weeks, if not a month, testing it and stuff. So so they do send them out to people to test, but they have to keep it silent until it's released. And then they're allowed to release all their content on it. So, and if the GoPro Hero 11 releases later this month, like if you hear it's out, go to YouTube. There'll be like hundreds of test videos or tons of test videos on it within seconds.
Are you hoping someday that you'll be one of those people given a GoPro to review and have ready for day one?
It would be nice. Like I buy a GoPro every year. I've got the 10. and I've got the 9. I just actually listed my 9 for sale on Facebook Marketplace.
In anticipation for the 11 coming out? Is that why?
Yeah, in anticipation for the 11 coming out. I just kind of upgrade every year, and I keep 2 because these are what I use when we travel for filming, and
you've actually had one fail before, right?
I did have one fail like the day before we were going to go on a pretty big trip, so I had to use my backup one. And when you're doing filming of your trip, we were going to Banff and doing a bunch of work, and I'd had a couple of partnerships that I'd agreed to work with, and your GoPro fails like the day before you're going. You're either going to the store to buy a GoPro, or I had my backup one, which was fine. So I always keep 2. It doesn't necessarily need to be a backup or a GoPro, but like I'm thinking of buying maybe a DJI or something. But I need something in case something fails. So
right.
But so jumping over to the GoPro here. So some leaked images have come out, and in previous years, these have been correct. And the timing lines up exactly to last year. Last year, the GoPro 10 came out roughly middle of September. And so these images, it looks like the GoPro 11 is going to look exactly identical to the 10, other than there's an 11 on the side. But there's rumors of it having a bigger sensor in it of 27 megapixels. And rumors of that being able to improve the low light shooting, which I would much appreciate. So with these GoPros, what I find when I'm using this, the stabilization is great until I get it to low light, and then it's really jumpy. So if that can be improved on, I'd definitely be happy. Because you've seen these, Steven, like you can walk down the road in the daytime and you don't even need a gimbal. Like you can be jumping around like this and it's perfectly smooth. So
but then I've seen your more low-level shots of like you were inside a cruise. Like it was okay, but it wasn't the same stability quality as when you were outside. It was starting.
As soon as the low light hits, it like gets jumpier, and so in my mind, I have to start thinking about like not doing walking shots or things in low light. I need to actually just put it on a tabletop or something, and then looks a lot better. But it's definitely grainy in the low light. And Yoshi's saying low light exposure affects every camera. Yes, it does. I agree with that. But it's definitely noticeable in the more so the stabilization. It really affects the stabilization in the
I was where I noticed that the GoPro had quite a bit of noise in lower level is I was looking for cameras that I had currently to do a green screen effect, do some recording. And I was working with the current phone I had, and it wasn't cutting it. So I thought I would try the GoPro as a really good image, but it wasn't good enough for green screen because as soon as I needed too much light and there's too much noise, and it just didn't work. But I went and bought an A71 phone, and that phone was able to do that shot where the GoPro was not. So there's still quite a bit of noise, and while a great camera. And the darker scenes, it still has quite a bit of noise, which is okay because it's intended usually for more outdoorsy shots, and that's the intent of it. And even I've seen your footage of like inside the cruise when we're at night. It was still fine. It was still okay. But it's just not that tier of quality that they want for like outdoor shots. It's not there.
Yeah, exactly.
Where I think like, was it a Samsung A71? I forget what.
LG?
Samsung.
I think yours was a Samsung. Yeah,
I feel like that way actually was handled lower light possibly better. I don't know if they were digitally dealing with it better or because of the sensor. But if GoPro can get that low level even better, as they mentioned in the article, that they're trying to get to more people to use it for more stuff. To get away from just being just the sports shots, but actually having like more normal use cases for it.
Well, I've had I bought my first GoPro was the GoPro Hero 5 Black, and I've had like 4 or 5 of them. I guess I had the 7, 8, 9, and 10, so I've had quite a few.
Yeah,
and it's definitely improved a lot.
Yeah,
and I think that, I mean, why I bought them, because it's not in the 5 they introduced the linear mode, I believe, so it didn't have the curved edges, and I didn't buy it for action shots at all. I bought it for just everyday filming, and it's small, compact, and that's why I buy them.
Yeah.
And you don't have to buy them for action sports anymore. It's great because you can take it swimming, you can do all that stuff. But you can also just use it for everyday life as well. So
yeah.
But yeah, so that's the GoPro rumors. I think we'll probably end up talking about this more in a couple of weeks when that gets released. Maybe if I get my hands on one, I can talk about it a little bit. But yeah. Should we talk about gummy bears and wind turbines?
Sure. How does that make sense? What?
Do you want to take over on this one? Because you know all the technical details.
I know everything about this, right? Yeah, so like the wind turbines, you know how they have the blades and stuff? Well, apparently the blades can outlive the actual like technology that powers things. Like, what would you call it? The stock? I don't know. I don't know anything.
The gears and motors inside, I think the arms can wear out faster than the gears and motors. Is that what it was?
Yeah. And so they, like, at this point, they've apparently been disposing of the blades when the other parts die. So there is this, I don't know if it was at a university or college, there's a team that has developed, wasn't a new polymer or
Michigan State University.
There we go.
John Dorgan, a chemical engineer.
Ooh, yeah. So a smart guy has designed a material that can be used to basically create blades. Like, theoretically, this is still in not mass production, but they have created enough to test these things out, being like, yeah, okay, we can scale this up and create like blades out of this material, and which could be later repurposed into various different products, including gummy bears. Technically, it could be even
so they're calling it a new polymer resin.
Okay.
That can be used to manufacture tail lights, diapers, kitchen sinks, and even gummy bears.
Yeah. Yeah. And so in the lab, apparently he actually did make gummy bears from the resin and ate it. And so it's fine. Like, it's okay. So that's the guy, I believe that's the guy there.
Yeah, that's John Dorgan. So rather than all these blades going into the dump, they can recycle them and you could eat them, technically.
Yes, and other things, other uses. But what was cool is, again, guys, read the original article for more details because we're not going to do it justice. Is one of the targets for them is to like have a product made and to be able to recycle it and have it remade back into the original thing again with the full integrity is the goal, to be able to like remake it again. And apparently they're able to do that with this polymer.
Yeah. So they're saying it's a resin by dissolving PLA. So a new composite resin by dissolving PLA. Yeah. I know PLA is used commonly in 3D printing.
Right.
And so for the filament, and I think it's an organic matter. Like they can make it out of like corn and things like that.
Right.
So that's kind of what they're using to make it.
And I feel like this is like more than just wind blades and that. Like, this is just I feel like this article has like an example of, here's a use case.
Like anything that's plastic, they could technically.
Yeah. So will now grocery bags be okay to be plastic again in the store? Will you be again okay to have your plastic straws, Ken? Can you have your plastic straws? This might be the biggest.
This is the biggest breakthrough in history. Make everything else paper, but keep my plastic straws or recyclable straws.
Yeah, you should. Yeah. So you should be very interested in this scientific discovery.
Yeah.
So, and apparently, so you might be able to even eat your straw.
That's just called a licorice straw.
Yeah, there we go. They've had that for years. Yeah, you're right. So good job, team, to creating edible.
No, this is good. Gummy bear straws. Yes. That's perfect.
All right. Trademark that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. So yeah, good. It's interesting because some people might not have windmills or these big windmills near their house. So the road between your house and my house,
a very long road,
has some massive ones. Like,
yeah,
it talks about some of the blades being like half of a football field, and I think that's what is basically up there in the mountains.
Yeah,
there's like 3 or 4 massive ones out there.
Yeah.
I was just down in Palm Springs, and right outside Palm Springs there's hundreds, if not thousands, of like smaller windmills along the side of the road. So they're heavily used down there in California as well.
Right.
And I know outside of San Francisco or Oakland, there's lots out in that area as well, because I could see them from the airplane looking down. But we also wanted to talk about something else that's kind of like environmental-ish.
Tying into this kind of thing. Yeah. Yes. What is it?
Well, so Excel customers in Denver were locked out of their thermostats.
Wow.
In their house. So they couldn't adjust the temperature in their house because, let me pull this up here. So 22,000 people lost control of the temperatures in their homes for hours on Tuesday. So last Tuesday. Because they agreed with Excel, I guess, I don't know if that's a power company. They'd signed up with their services for I guess for their climate control in their house, and it got really hot, and Excel took over their thermostats and said you can't raise them or lower them for power, to save power. And
they have like the icons like, sorry, you can't do that, John.
Yeah, basically they were locked out, and because they'd signed up for like a Colorado air conditioning rewards program, it locked them out of their smart thermostats for hours, right, to help control how much electricity is being used. So
now, apparently, this was a result of a few complications happening at once that it created an energy emergency.
Forest fires, I believe, and high temperatures and all sorts of stuff.
I think there may have been a power station that had gone down mixed with high temperatures, and so that they then limited the cooling for some peak periods that were pretty hot.
Yeah,
but I mean, yeah.
So what are your thoughts on your power company or whatever blocking you from changing the temperature in your house?
In principle, it doesn't sound great.
No,
like the trend of that. This is kind of like where I don't like electric automated cars, because they could technically become locked down with software. There's just this trend of not having. I'm not against automated systems. It's when you don't have the ability to go into a manual control mode. When you lose control of that manual option, is what I don't like that trend.
Like when your car gets feelings.
Yeah, it becomes sentient, and it starts to want to go to the drive-in theater and watch romantic movies all the time, and you can't stop it. Yeah. What do you do? So, but imagine like some foreign country invades your country, and they're like, "Wahaha, we're gonna make the citizens uncomfortable," and then they get control of the thermostat system, and they crank it to max. Everyone's like, just on top of everything else during a war invading, they're gonna crank your thermostats to full and make you heat you out of your houses. It just, when you centralize all control to a centralized thing that you can't override.
Yeah. Well, it's no different like if you have smart locks on your house, or you have smart garage door openers. Technically, they can get hacked and be open. Like some cars, if you've locked your keys in them, you can call the number and they'll unlock your car for you, right? So
right.
Right. So, like, you think about what kind of power there is there. There's a lot of power you're giving someone else.
Yeah, and again, automation's okay, but it's when you don't, you can't go into, like, it's like with a plane. It's imagine being, I think one of the plane crashes that may have happened, I could be wrong, like one of these Boeing accidents, is the automated system was taking over and the pilot couldn't take manual control or something. And so they crashed, apparently, because I could be wrong, but if this is if I'm understanding correctly, if the automated system was forcing it, saying, no, you're in danger, but it was wrong, and the pilot's trying to auto-correct it and losing manual control. Like, there's times when not being able to have manual control in emergencies doesn't seem like a good precedent.
Yeah. Well, in that situation, I think they did software upgrades and it fixed the problems.
Yeah, but the problem is the pilot should be able to take manual control from the start and say, skip the automation. In an emergency, I don't think automation is the ideal solution. Mm-hmm. I think because the emergency could be the automation is wrong.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and it's the same thing, self-driving cars.
So imagine this same story. Imagine now if an elderly person was a customer and had an issue and they actually were found dead from heat stroke.
Because it was too hot. Yeah.
The implications and that would have been a disaster for this company more than what's already happened.
Yeah. So, no, for sure. Yeah. So, or not even that. Like, what if your like fish are required to be you have a fish tank and they need to be at a certain temperature, or like,
right.
Like on a smaller scale, you could have things that are relying on the temperature.
I would have liked that movie. It wasn't Mr. Poppins Penguins or something. What if you have penguins in your apartment and I forget what it was called.
What if your GPU overheats because the house is too hot?
What if you can't get like 144 frames per second because your GPU is throttling because of your and you just can't
because of your
and so you lost your $10,000 tournament prize because of and then
it's all man, life.
We brought it back to tech. See, your esports gaming is affected because your CPU's throttled. Yeah. Anyway, just wait. Would you buy a computer for a good price from like a tech company who could lock you out from overclocking your computer and throttle it and do things and be like,
well, yeah,
which is pretty much a phone at this point. Maybe
our cell phone companies throttle internet.
See, Apple did that.
Companies do that.
Apple did that with the iPhone back in the day. Remember, they said because of dying batteries, they locked it. Like the 1.5 gigahertz phone was downclocked to 600 megahertz.
Yeah, to save battery life.
But they weren't really telling people this, I think, explicitly, and that really was. And I think it was a software thing that did that.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah, I don't know, crazy stuff.
And I'm going to mention. I have an LG G6, which probably is in the age territory of what was said to be too old and dying. My battery's still okay. Yeah. And it's still running. So anyway.
I'm going to complain about my phone. So this is a Samsung S20 Ultra 5G.
Yeah.
And my camera. So if I Google this, there's a lot of people who have the same problem. Like a few weeks ago, the camera in the like one-time zoom stopped focusing, so I need to flip it into selfie mode and then go back into the regular mode and then it will focus, or I need to like smack it on the side to get it to focus and then it'll start focusing. And I think it's a common thing with this phone, and a lot of people are like think it's like software related and things, and super annoying.
But you're hitting it. Doesn't seem very software related.
Yeah. So no, because it'll work like a few times and then it's like it taps it so it retries to focus. It's weird.
Oh yeah.
So because it's anyway, it just seems like a lot of people online have the same problem, so it's interesting. Yeah. We'll leave it at that. It's annoying. We have a question of the day.
Yes.
If
before question. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right.
Oh, before.
Would you? All right.
Go ahead.
Would you go Twitter Blue to edit?
I'm considering it.
Are you? Is it
Like I don't think right away. Here's the issue: is I don't know if Twitter Blue lets you do like say up to 3 accounts, because I don't want to have a Twitter Blue subscription for like 3 different accounts.
That's true.
So if I could have like 3 accounts tied into one, that would make it Yoshi saying he won't pay for anything Twitter. Well, you have fun with your typos. It's all right. Yoshi apparently he's probably like the grammar king anyway with all your Grammarly and stuff. But no, Cody says
no.
All right. I guess I'm, Ken, would you?
No, that didn't take me long. No.
So based on science, 1 out of 4 people will get Twitter Blue. Right? Is that how it works? Yeah, I just run Grammarly on Twitter.
Yeah, Grammarly, it will fix everything. Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I don't mind paying for services, but I really need them to be services that I'll use.
Yeah,
a lot. So,
yeah,
I use Twitter quite a bit, but not to tweet, to like look at stuff. So,
yeah.
So the odd tweet I do.
Yeah, I think it'll be mostly beneficial for especially companies. I think for a company, well, even then, for a company though, I think it'd be better just to delete the tweet and redo it, because it almost seems like a thing against you. If you have the edit history, it shows history of you failing.
Yeah.
So it's almost still better to just delete your tweet and redo it as a company, so people can't like see your mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
I don't like, for me, it's I understand where it's useful, but for me, it's not really needed. You were wanting to say something before our question of the day.
Yeah. So I think we should have brought it up earlier, but anyway, at 100 subscribers, what happens, Ken? What are we
at 100 subscribers? You will see us in high definition. We are planning on upgrading to 1080p streaming at 100 subscribers. So make sure you subscribe yourself. Make sure you subscribe your grandma. Make sure you subscribe all your friends. If you have 5 or 6 accounts, make sure you subscribe, because we want to upgrade to 1080p streaming so you can see us in high definition.
Wow. For better and for worse. And
make sure your grandma watches us as well.
That'd be neat. Yeah, so that's our goal for 100 subscribers. Mm-hmm. So, and thanks guys for joining in and chatting with us, and makes it helpful when we have people joining along and joining us with some coffee and joining the chat as if you were with us at a coffee shop talking. Heck.
Yeah, and it's too bad we were able to miss last week, but we are trying to be more consistent through the fall here, so hopefully that is the case. So again, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and you can listen to us on your favorite podcasting platform as well. And thanks everybody. Until next time, take care and goodbye.